QSD from the Denver Radio Club. Welcome to the Denver Radio Club Net, BNL and repeater W0TX. This is a meeting held on the air every Sunday evening at about 8:30 p.m. Good evening, my name is Jim. My call sign is Kilo Zero Tango Oscar Romeo. I'll be your net control station transmitting from Littleton, Colorado. If there is any emergency or priority traffic during this net, say break at any pause, and the net will be suspended until the emergency or priority traffic is completed. This net is for Denver Radio Club members and all interested radio amateurs. We're here to share information concerning any ham-related activities. Regular meetings of the Denver Radio Club are held on the third Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. And again, with the COVID-19 restrictions, we use virtual meetings and we use Google Meets as our media. And if you want to join our virtual meetings, you can get the address for that website on our website, www.w0tx.org, or if you're on our mail list, you'll get an email with that address included. Our next meeting will be on June the 16th. An Elmer session is held at 6 p.m. just prior to our monthly meeting. This session addresses any amateur radio questions that you might have. So whether you're new to amateur radio or interested in some new application of amateur radio, this is a session where you can get help. Also, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., except the third Wednesday when our monthly meeting is held, there's a learning net held on 145.490 megahertz and 448.625 megahertz. This is another area where you can find answers for your amateur radio-related questions. As a general interest club, we provide emergency communication for the Salvation Army, City of Wheat Ridge Police Department, City of Lakewood Police Department, the West Metro Fire District, and St. Anthony's West Hospital. We are always looking for members who would like to participate in this support. Please contact our club president if you'd like to help. Our current president is Jerry Vilhauer, W0GV, and Jerry's telephone number is 303-467-0223. The Denver Radio Club website address is www.w0tx.org. Again, Jerry's telephone number is 303-467-0223. The Denver Radio Club also participates in the ARRL Volunteer Examiner Program. But again, with the COVID-19 restrictions still in place, we don't have VE testing as often as we would like. Hopefully that will change here in the near future. But we report any forthcoming scheduled VE sessions here on this net, plus also get reports from some of the other local clubs here as well, so stay tuned for that. And also we list that on our club website as well. If you have other questions, you can certainly contact our VE team lead, Tom Koshalski, KC2CAG, at 720-284-1911. This is the Denver Radio Club Net W0TX, and this is K02R serving as net control. Are there any special announcements or bulletins for the net this evening? If so, please call now. Before regular check-ins, I'd like to welcome and invite any visiting radio amateurs to check into the Denver Radio Club net this evening. During this net, we disable the requirement for the 100 Hz PL repeater access tone, so you can use either 145.490 megahertz with a minus 600 kilohertz offset, or 448.625 megahertz with a minus 5 megahertz offset. Are they visiting radio amateurs who would like to check into the Denver Radio Club net tonight? If so, please call now. Next, I'd like to welcome and invite any newly licensed or recently upgraded radio amateurs to check in. Please call now. I'll now take regular check-ins in groups, and please let me know if you have traffic when you check in, and I'll get back to you. First, radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters A through E, Alpha through Echo. Please call now.
110, Delta Papa Romeo, call on the
0 Bravo Kilo Sierra, Barb in Wheat Ridge, no traffic.
N0 ATV, Lance, Aurora, no traffic.
Whiskey Delta 6, Delta Oscar Kilo Rich in Arvada, no traffic, good evening.
W0TX Repeater.
November 0 Delta Bravo Sierra, N0 DBS, Dawn in Denver. Good evening.
W0CIV, Charles in Denver, no traffic.
And that control light to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. K0 DPR Paul, W0 BKS Barb, N0 ETV Lance, WD6 DOK Rich, N0 DBS Don, and WD0 CIV Charles. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters A through E, Alpha through Echo. Please call now. Move down the alphabet. Radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters F through J, Foxtrot through Juliet. Please call now.
WSRGV, Jerry, Westminster.
KC0JV, Frank Denver.
Kilo Delta 0 Golf Bravo X-Ray, Brad in Lakewood.
Kilo Golf 5, Papa Delta Foxtrot, Jake, Denver.
Kilo 6 Hotel Juliet Victor, K6HJV Tom Arvada, no traffic.
Alpha 0 Juliet Kilo, AA0JK Fred in Arvada. Good evening, no traffic.
November 0 Golf Tango Golf Kurt in Denver, no traffic.
Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. W0GV Jerry, KC0JV Frank, KB0GBX Brad, K0DPF Jake, K6HJV Tom, AA0JK Fred, and N0GTG Kurt. Make one call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters F through J, Foxtrot through Juliet. Please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Sierra Yankee. Dan in Denver, no traffic.
Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. KF0FSY Dan. We'll move on down the alphabet and radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters K through O, Kilo through Oscar. Please call now.
Whiskey 0 Lima Foxtrot, Orland and Golden, no traffic, over.
Kilo Echo 0 Oscar Sierra India, Tom Highlands Ranch, no traffic.
WG0N, Dave in Lakewood.
Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. WW0LF Orland, KE0OSI Tom, and WG0N Dave. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters K through O, Kilo through Oscar. Please call now. And moving on down the alphabet, and radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters P through T, Papa through Tango. Please call now.
Whiskey Bravo 2, Sierra Hotel Romeo, Stan in Denver, no traffic.
Kilo Echo 0 Romeo Victor Zulu, John in Lakewood, no traffic.
Whiskey 0 Sierra Bravo Sierra, Tony Hudson. Kilo Bravo 9er, Quebec Delta Golf, KB 9er QDG, Carl, Lakewood, no traffic.
Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. WB2 SHR Stan, KE0REZ John, WB0 SPS Tony, KB9 QDG Carl. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters P through T, Papa through Tango. Please call now.
W0TX Repeater.
This is Kilo Golf 5, Papa Delta Foxtrot. Jake in Denver, apologize for the earlier check in the improper position.
And Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. KG5 PDF Jake, no apology necessary, Jake. We'll take them whenever. We just try to slow them down a little bit so we can keep up. All right, we'll move on down the alphabet. And radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Please call now.
KF0UV, Marshall and Glendale.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Foxtrot Quebec, Troy and Denver coming in late.
And Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. KF0UV Marshall and KF0AFQ Troy. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin in letters U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Please go now. All right, we'll do the entire alphabet. Radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin in letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now. All right, it'll be a chance for late check-ins later in the net. And at this time, I'd like to invite our club president, Jerry Vilhauer, W0GB, to go through and cover club business. Go ahead, Jerry, the net is yours.
All righty, Jim. Well, thanks for doing the net. Welcome, everybody, on this holiday weekend. I hope everything's going well for you. Not too much to mention other than we've got our program for our next meeting will be on USB and serial interfaces, presented by Bob, N6TV. And as we all use, computers and everything, interfaces to everything nowadays, this will be some really good information. So it's all about USB and serial interfaces. So that'll be quite interesting, I believe. As we said before, we're going to have field day. Things are just starting to develop, so just kind of stay tuned. Watch the web page and stay tuned to the Sunday and Wednesday nets, and we'll get more information out as things develop. So it's going to be kind of a rush this year, time-wise, but hopefully we'll pull it off with not too many hitches. So that's it, I think, for tonight. So back to you, Jim. W0GV.
W0GV, this is K02R. Thanks, Jerry. We appreciate that. And looking at my check-ins, I don't see anybody that indicated they had traffic. This is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and this is K02R Net Control Station. Does anyone have any other comments, information, or business for the net? If so, please call now. All right, pass on a couple of notes. Last Wednesday, we supported the City of Lakewood siren test, and we had a good turnout, and siren test went well. So we appreciate all the volunteer help that we got. And now we're getting ready to do Wheat Ridge. So Wheat Ridge siren test will be on the 9th of June, and we ask that you be on site at 10:30, and the siren test will go off at 11, as usual. And we'll start calling to get volunteers lined up this week after tomorrow, after the holiday. We're going to try and call people on the holiday. But anyways, we'll start calling. And if you're available, if you've actually, I should say first, if you worked 2 years ago, because we didn't have a siren test last year due to COVID. But if you worked 2 years ago, we'll have you on the list, and as usual, we'll give you first rights for that site that you had, because we like to keep the continuity there. So if you can remember that you did serve 2 years ago, we got you covered. And if you don't remember, or you'd like to volunteer, we'd certainly be glad you put you on the list. And if you're new, we'd actually team you up with someone else if we don't have an available site, so that you get a chance to see how the routine goes and such. It's not that complicated. And we do a site inspection and basically check the siren sound and audio clarity and such. And so it goes pretty well. And again, for Wheat Ridge, we plan to have soft drinks and pizza afterwards at the police department. So, as I say, we'll start making calls on Tuesday. And if you'd like to volunteer, you can send me an email. My email address is k0tur@arrl.net, or you can call me at 303-798-2351. So, hope to see you on there, and look forward to that test going as well as the last one did. So with that, let me check and see, are there any other comments, information, or business for the net? If so, please call now. All right, do we have any late check-ins? Please call now.
Yeah, Net Control, please recognize WB0VGD, Whiskey Baker 0, Victor Golf Delta, Bob in Arvada.
And Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. WB0, Victor, Delta. Sorry, Bob, but I missed that second character. Could you give that to me again?
W0TX Repeater.
Yeah, the last three letters of my call sign are Victor, George, Delta, or very good day, as I often say. QSL?
Very good, Bob. WB0, Victor, very good day, VGD. Thanks, Bob. I don't know, I just had a mental block there, I guess, but appreciate the fill. All right, before I move on, any other late check-ins, please call now. All right, we'll go through and review next weekend's contests and upcoming Hamfest. And unfortunately, we don't have any upcoming Hamfest on the calendars yet. Hopefully that's going to change here soon. Look forward to getting back into normal throw of things, I guess. But let's take a look and see what we got here for the Hamfest that'll be coming up this next weekend. Let's see, the first one I got here is PK Shines Contest. That begins on June 5th at 0 hour Zulu, goes through June 5th at 23:59 hours Zulu. That's on 80 through 10 meters, and that's a CWN phone contest. Next we have the 1010 International Open. That begins on June 5th at 0 hour Zulu, goes through June 6th until 23:59 hours Zulu. That one's on 10 meters, and that's a digital contest. Let's see, the next one we have is Digifest. That begins on June 5th at 0400 hours Zulu, goes through June 6th until 2000 hours Zulu. That's on 80 through 10 meters, and that is a digital contest. Next one we have is the Wake Up QRP Sprint. That begins on June 5th at 0600 hours Zulu, goes through June 5th until 0800 hours Zulu. That's on 40 and 20, and that's a CW contest. Next one we have is the Can-Am Contest. That begins on June 5th at 0600 hours Zulu, goes through June 6th until June 6th until 0600 hours Zulu. And that's 160 through 70 centimeters. That's a CW and phone contest. Next we have the Tizza Cup CW contest. It begins on June 5th at 1200 hours Zulu, goes through June 6th until 11:59 hours Zulu. That's on 160 through 20 meters. That is a phone contest. And next we have UKSMG Summer Contest. That begins on June 5th at 1300 hours Zulu, go through June 6th until 1300 hours Zulu. That one is on 6 meters. That's a CW and phone contest. Next we have the Kentucky QSO Party. That begins on June 5th at 1400 hours Zulu, goes through June 6th until 0200 hours Zulu. That is on 160 through 2 meters, and that's a CW phone and digital contest. Next we have the RSGB National Field Day. That begins on June 5th, 1500 hours Zulu, goes through June 6th until 1500 hours Zulu. That's on 160 through 10 meters. That's a CW contest. And lastly, we have the Cookie Crumble QRP contest. That begins on June 6th at 1700 hours Zulu, goes through June 6th until 2200 hours Zulu. That covers all bands, and that's a CW phone and digital contest. A couple reminders. The High Noon Net, they meet daily at 12 noon, where early check-ins begin at 11:30. They meet on a frequency of 7.240 megahertz on the 40-meter band. And the Salvation Army SaturnNet, they meet at 1500 hours Zulu. That's 9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. They meet Monday through Saturday on a frequency of 14.265 megahertz, which is on the 20-meter band. The Denver Radio Club maintains the following repeaters for use by all radio amateurs. The 147.330 megahertz with a positive offset, the 145.490 megahertz with a negative offset, the 224.380 megahertz with a negative offset, the 449.350 megahertz with a negative offset, the 448.625 megahertz with a negative offset, the 447.825 megahertz with a negative offset, our digital turbo repeater operating on Brandmeister on 446.7875 megahertz with a negative offset, and our C4 FM digital repeater on 449.775 megahertz with a negative offset. The 447.825 megahertz repeater is configured for narrowband FM, and that requires a digital coded squelch of 073. There are two repeaters on 147.330 megahertz. The repeater in Lakewood requires a 100 hertz PL tone, and the second repeater located east near Franktown requires a 131.8 hertz PL tone. We have a second repeater on the same frequency out east to improve coverage along the Front Range and into the canyons. However, having two repeaters on the same frequency with two different frequency propagations, we ask that you monitor the frequency to ensure neither is used prior to making your call. The 449.350 megahertz repeater provides wide area coverage, and this repeater hosts our Echolink station, W0TX node number 4140. And the 448.625 megahertz repeater is linked with the 145.490 megahertz repeater. The repeater on 449.775 is now a C4 FM digital only repeater, and each repeater requires a 100 hertz PL tone for activation, except as noted, and each uses standard offsets. And for packet, we have the 145.050 megahertz gateway on 2 meters that is interconnected with the 14.105 megahertz gateway on 20 meters for packet QSO. And we have a 6-meter repeater on 53.09 megahertz with an input on 52.09 megahertz with a required 107.2 hertz PL tone. Your support of the Denver Radio Club is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to participate in any of the many club activities, please contact our club president, Jerry Vilhauer, W0GV. I would like to thank everyone for checking into the Denver Radio Club Net tonight. Your support is greatly appreciated. I hope you all have a great week, 7-3. And tonight we had a total of 26 check-ins, and the Denver Radio Club W0TX Net is now closed at 9:04. And repeaters available for regular use. This is K0TR Net Control Station, and please stand by a moment while I return the PL tone to the repeater.
PL on.
And this is K0TR. I'll be clear, and good night to all.
W0TX repeater.